Aquarius, this looks like a massively important February to you. The overall energy is that of the Hierophant. It suggests to me formal religion. It could be a conservative attitude to something, learning from those who know. But it does feel like you're looking towards religion. In the past, bottom right hand card, we have the Magician. You were manifesting something. I'm not sure what you were manifesting at this moment in time, but you were manifesting something. You're now sitting very tall. We have the Emperor card, a wise, a father figure, authority figure, so this formal religion could be connected to that. In the future we have the Five of Swords, that's a winning at all cost card. I often believe that to be somebody doing it to you, but I need to keep an open mind. It could be you doing it, because you do have this sort of authority figure, you do have this sort of self-assuredness. However, we now have the Empress, so to have the Emperor and the Empress is very, very strong indeed. The Empress much more in tune with her, well, much more balanced, left and right brain, conscious and subconscious, in tune with nature, in tune with the feminine side, enjoys life's little luxuries, but is willing to share them with others. What would prevent the outcome is the Nine of Swords, you having nightmares, you being worried about something, no idea what it is at this moment in time. And the outcome is justice. Now, hoping that that Five of Swords isn't you, this is justice coming in your favour. If it is for you, it'll be firm, it'll be fair, particularly if you understand the errors of your ways. But we don't know too much at the moment. We're going to have to look at this in a lot more detail. So stick with me. Now, the overall energy that runs through this reading is that of the Hierophant. I normally say that it refers to formal religion, seeking advice from somebody who knows about formal religion. It could be about seeking advice on tried and tested ways, seeking advice from somebody in authority, but it does seem to represent a major change in your life. And this is an energy that runs throughout the entire reading, and I need to recognise that as I interpret all the other cards. So I feel that you are seeking something, and it's a somewhat conservative, tried and tested ways of doing things. Now, I'm not certain why you're seeking it. There are indications, but I'm not certain. And I don't quite know what you're seeking at this time, but I get the impression in February you're going to find what you're looking for. It may not actually be what you think you wanted, but you are going to find it, and I think that's a good thing. Now, your past energy is that of the Magician card. This suggests to me that you were trying to manifest something. I'm not certain what you were trying to manifest, but I suspect you've got it. And maybe that's what this is about. Maybe you're disillusioned with the results. Maybe that's it. I think you were trying to manifest something. So, for example, if you'd been trying to manifest money, you get the money, but it isn't what it seems. Or more likely, I think you were trying to manifest power. And now you've got power. It's not as great as you thought it was going to be. It's just a feeling I've got at this stage. I might be totally wrong on it, but yeah, I've got the feeling you were manifesting, and it has been granted, I think. But you're somewhat disillusioned with the outcome. Reason why I think maybe you are manifesting power is we now have, and this is your current energy, the Emperor card, very powerful, very strong individual, a father-like figure, a figure of authority, somebody that people come to for advice. Somebody that's very connected maybe to the law, passes judgment. And I just get the impression that now you've got it, it's not all that it's cracked up to be, because of course you seem to be seeking advice from a higher authority. So everybody's looking up to you for advice, but you're realising that you're not that great. There is an authority above you. It's a burden maybe. It's a burden that people look to you and you don't, in your heart of hearts, feel that you have the answers. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. I'm going off on one a bit, but these are the feelings I'm getting. Now in the future we have the Five of Swords, which is a card of winning at all costs. You look at this card and you know they've had a fight, and it looks like those two who've lost, they've not only lost their swords, but they're holding their bums like they've been hit on the bums with a sword. And I can't help but feel that it feels very playground, very childish. That the person who has this winning at all costs view is actually behaving very childishly, if only we could understand it. Now, there was an indication as I was pulling these cards that maybe it's you that's behaving like that, and it might be. You see, the overall energy is that of you searching for maybe religion, but searching for sort of a higher authority. But there's also an indication you are that higher authority, or a higher authority to some. So I wonder if in your dispensing justice, as it were, you have had a sort of winner takes all attitude. Maybe not, maybe you're the victim of it. We'll see. But yeah, it's not a nice energy, but once you can understand that the aggressor is just a child in a playground, then all the problems seem to disappear. Now, what is quite amazing about this reading is your current energy is that of the Emperor. But now we have the Empress card, which is the energy that impacts on the outcome. And to have both the Emperor and the Empress, there is something very, very powerful going on here. Very powerful. And as you know, I get this feeling that you've had something of a change of heart. And the Empress would reflect that. It's almost as though the Emperor, you were the father figure. Well, the Empress is the mother figure. She's much more in touch with the feminine side, much more in touch with nature, a much kinder, a much gentler type of power that she wields. And that's one of the things that why I think you're having second thoughts about what I believe is this power that you've manifested. I mean, it could mean that there's a pregnancy, but I don't think it does. She's a lovely person. She enjoys the little luxuries in life, but she doesn't want them just for herself. She wants everybody to enjoy them. So I've got this feeling that you're moving from this father, from this authority figure, to a much sort of more feminine power, which I've got to say feels like a great thing. what would prevent the outcome or change the outcome is the Nine of Swords, which is a card of nightmares. Lying awake at night with fear, with thinking about things. And again, this fits this sort of idea of a change of heart. I don't know if you've listened to George Bush or Henry Kissinger recently, but as they're becoming older, you can hear that they're regretting so much that they did in their lives. Maybe they know they're close to meeting God and they're fearful of what their true intentions were, even though at the time they were firm in their intentions. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what's worrying you. I don't know, but I'm just getting these very strong feelings that there's a sense that the way you see the world is being challenged, and with it there's some sort of sense of regret on how you've conducted your life. Yeah. And the outcome is the Justice card. Now this isn't judgment, this is justice. So it could be a legal judgment. You know, it isn't karmic, it's a legal type of judgment, or some justice coming. Now, is it against what you've done? As I say, I do have this feeling that you may have been that win at all costs person. Or is it that you're getting, that justice is coming for what you've suffered? We still don't really know this. Now, if I'm right that it's your misdemeanours that are being judged, if you're honest with yourself and others, if you're full of remorse, and of course the Nine of Swords suggests you were, the justice will be firm, but it will be fair, and you can then get on with your life. Things will feel so much better after this justice comes. But I think what we need to do is we need to get a little bit of clarification. So I see this on this Five of Swords, because if I can work out whether or not you were the aggressor, then I think everything falls into place. And the cards I've got possibly suggest that, I'm not sure. First card we have is the Six of Swords, which is about you moving on and dumping baggage. So it could be that there is, or maybe you just need to move on and forgive and forget. I was going to say it does feel like it was you, but maybe not. Then there is this Eight of Wands, having a very firm direction, moving quickly. Maybe you sought retribution, maybe you were hard done by, but it played on your mind. And whatever it is caused a tower moment, so it caused everything to end. Could be either way, couldn't it? Let's look at each card individually. So yeah, the first card of clarification is the Six of Swords, which is a card about moving on and a card about dumping baggage. Are you regretting your actions as the aggressor, as this winner takes off? And you need to move on from it and dump baggage. Well, it's possible. It's possible that it's that, but much more likely that this led to that action. Was this a fight with someone from the past and you both had that winner take all attitude? Do you know, that's more likely. That's more likely. And of course we've got the Nine of Swords, you lying awake with nightmares. You haven't dumped this baggage. You haven't dumped this baggage. Do you remember there was you as the emperor, and I said that maybe you're regretting that sort of hard justice you'd met out. So maybe this was a reaction to something that somebody felt aggrieved that you'd done, and it set up this sort of vicious winner takes all on both sides sort of actions. I wonder. And you know, yeah, the next card seems to be suggesting this as well, and it is that it's the Eight of Wands, and this is you being very firm in your ideas, very firm in your views, knowing what you want, knowing how to get there and moving quickly, everything in unison. But what if it was the wrong thing? What if you've done the wrong things in your life and you're beginning to understand that now? Gosh, was this conflict much bigger than I was giving it credit for? Do you know, I think it is. I think it's quite a major conflict. And I think both of you had the wrong attitudes, and that's what caused the bitterness here. Yeah, do you know, maybe my comments about Henry Kissinger and George Bush are pathetic. You know, because of... I'm convinced they felt that what they did was right. Even Henry Kissinger, who his attitude to diplomacy was what was in his interest, was in the interest of humanity. And now he's having real questions about it. And I think you are. I think that's how to explain it. Good heavens. Aquarius, I had no idea it was going to come out like this. And, you know, there is an indication that this event was much bigger than I at first thought it was, because now we have the Tower. So this brought an end to something. I wonder, was it an end to your career, an end to your reputation? Or did you bring about an end to somebody's career or reputation? Because it was very big, it was a very big event. And it's this that you're having nightmares about, and it's this that justice is coming about. Now, as I say, I'm not certain that the justice is against you, but if you are involved in that sort of justice, you know, you've got to be honest on this. You've got to be honest, first of all, with yourself and then with everybody else, and accept the justice that's coming for you. Gosh, I'm certainly not saying you've got nothing to worry about, but what I am saying is once justice comes, you'll feel so much better. You really will. Wow, what a reading. Okay, I'm going to summarise for you now, Aquarius. Aquarius, I have to admit this has turned out one of the most powerful readings I've ever done. It's twisted in ways that I was never anticipating. I think in the past you manifested something, and what you manifested, I believe, was power, was authority. And people did look to you for your judgments, for your wisdom, for your power and your authority. And I think you were very... Do I want to use the word authoritarian? I suppose I do. I don't know if you were cruel in dispensing this authority, but you had very, very strong, firm beliefs, and you dispensed your authority according to those firm beliefs, and it hurt people. It hurt people, and it got into some sort of a power play with those people, between you and them, and it was a winner-takes-all situation. And I think you both did bad things. I think both of you did things that you now regret. And do you know, I think you're even regretting having grabbed power in the way that you did, and you're sort of turning to religion looking for answers. A very positive sign is that you're also becoming much more feminine, much more in touch with nature. You're sort of doubting the very things that you believed in the past. You're listening much more to your subconscious. But you know, whatever it is has happened has led to you lying awake at night full of fear. And I think you're fearful because justice is coming, and I think it's actual justice. I think it's a court case. Might not be, you know, it might simply be people seeking retribution against what they believe is your abuse of power. And I think you're coming to see it as an abuse of power as well. I'm not certain you were abusing power so much as just thinking that you had a duty and a right to be a strong man, as it were. And I think you're now regretting it terribly. And justice is coming. Now, I think the justice is coming. I don't think it's a clear-cut case of you were in the wrong, because I think people have sought to harm you as well. You know, it's been a power play. But I think you're worried about the ins and outs of it. And, you know, all I can tell you is that you've got to be, number one, honest with yourself. And then you've got to be, number two, honest with the judge or whoever's assessing. You see, what you really needed to have done was you needed to forgive and forget those who you feel have harmed you. And you didn't. It just made you more firm in your views. And it brought about an ending, I think an ending to someone's career. It could have been your career. It could have been their career. It could have been both of your careers, you know. But it's been this massive power play that you've got into. And justice is coming, and you've just got to be honest. You've just got to be honest. And once justice has been delivered, you're going to feel so much better. You're going to feel so much better about yourself, so much better about the world, because of it will make up for whatever misdemeanors you've done. And, you know, if you are the one who's been hard done by, and you did everything with the best intentions, you have nothing to worry about. But it's a massively powerful reading, this. Massively.